Okay. Let's see what happens here. Folks, a little patience. I'm using a new app. Okay. Oh, I think it works. Let's see what happens here. I'm using the app called Streamlabs. This app allows me to stream in higher quality. One of my biggest, I keep getting pop-ups on the screen now. I should have changed some settings not to have pop-ups on the screen. One of my biggest problems with live stream is that it live streams in 720p, very low resolution, even though I have excellent internet at home. And then, even though it was a nice video, when people watch it in the next 6 months, some of the videos, opening videos of some tackle, get watched for 2 years later, the live stream, and they all have to watch it in bad video because it was streamed in 720p. How does it look now? Can somebody confirm that you guys can hear and see okay? Can somebody leave a comment? Gleam Terraced. Howdy from South Alabama. Borislav Vlahov. Hello from Bulgaria. How is fishing on Maritsa River? Can somebody leave just one comment in the comments about the video and audio quality, that it's at least acceptable? It looks acceptable to me. I can actually kind of see it. All right. We're gonna start moving. Good. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Because I want to leave the last 10 minutes of the video for questions. If you have some questions, you can type them. I will read them at the end of the video. First of all, somebody said in the comments, I've been waiting for this review. This here is not the review. This is just initial impressions. I do have some interesting initial impressions. But before I make review, I have to fish the reel, 3, 4, 5 times. I don't do reviews right away and then people come and criticize you because you missed something. And people have no patience. So I do want to share initial impressions, but as you can see, I haven't even taken the tape off. So this is not a review by any chance. Just some impressions about aesthetics and quality of assembly and some other things that we can deduce just by looking at here. The first thing that I'm really happy about is the aesthetics of the reel. The old Ultegra 2021 model was bluish in color. Some blue, some gray, some silver, but mainly bluish. And the biggest reason I sold that reel has nothing to do with performance. I happened to get lucky and I got an incredible specimen. But the reel being bluish in color didn't match any of my rods, and I'm very choosy. When it comes to aesthetics, if it doesn't match, I can't look at the reel all day. It distracts me from fishing, and I sold a reel that I loved. And I don't know if it had to do anything with that feedback, but Shimano decided to abandon the blue color, and they don't do that easily. I don't want to go into a rabbit hole about colors here, but if you look at a model that's been around for a long time, Daiwa doesn't do that easily either. Presso, Vanfort, Luvias, these reels, they have one particular color scheme, and they stick with it for brand recognition. They don't change colors easy. But they abandoned the blue color, and I think that was a great decision. The reel looks just altogether nice. There is nothing too sharp to deter you from putting this reel on any rod. I can put this reel, and I probably will, on my Shimano Suare XR 7'6". That's a $300 rod, and I think this reel will look on it there. Although I have to tell you, and I'm done with colors, when it comes to colors, I find the Sahara actually looks just a little better. I find the finish on the Sahara extremely sophisticated looking. I don't know how they did that, by pure accident, I'm sure, but this one is like more like plain black. The Sahara, by some accident, they did extremely sophisticated gunmetal finish. A very dark gunmetal, amazing. The spool, they say it's gold, but it's not really gold. By the way, when you start streaming, the camera cannot switch lenses, so I cannot zoom. It will be blurry. So this is why I have to do the entire video from this sort of length. One other quick comment before I dig into some stuff. Did anybody notice that I actually already did a review of this reel in January of 2025? If you go to my YouTube channel and search for 2025 buying guide, my rods buying guide will, my reels buying guide will pop, and scroll to like 15th minute or so. And in the $100 to $200 segment, I was talking about the Ultegra. Watch this just 1 or 2 minute segment from that video carefully. And now that I have the reel, I checked the drawings, the schematics already. This is the model that I got. I can confirm that in January of this year, 4 months before the reel was released on the market, my prediction to what this reel is was, I don't want to say it myself, but it was pretty much a home run. Just watch this video if you are impatient, because I will do a full review of this reel when I'm done fishing with it and kind of researching. Also, the other thing I will do for you guys is full disassembly down to the main shaft. We will remove everything and we'll see all the changes they did. But if you have no patience for that, just open my reel buying guide, go to the Ultegra, and you will see what I said about the new Ultegra there, and they did exactly what I said in that video. Here is the box one more time. This is the C2000S model, 180 grams of weight, it says here. I did check this on the scale. Before you put line, it weighs exactly 180 grams. So there is about a 5-gram difference. Hard to tell where the weight difference came from, because there are no major improvements to any one of the components. So I think I'm going to talk more about that in the review, but I think 3 or 4 or 5 things were touched just a little bit to eke 5 grams of weight savings. Now, how does the reel feel? Well, I'm on a lucky streak. I got another beautiful reel here. My reel is perfectly smooth and quiet. Let me go on a tiny rabbit hole about noises. When I say quiet, you think that there is no noise whatsoever from a fishing reel. Every fishing reel has contact noise. I don't care what you can get a $10,000 reel. It will have contact noise. The gears make contact. Okay? The rotor is spinning around the main shaft. There is contact. Contact noise is normal. What is contact? Here is some contact noise. contact noise sounds like, and I will exaggerate it just so you get the point. It sounds like contact noise is consistent. Okay, you start spinning. That's normal. It's not as loud. I'm just exaggerating to make a point, but if your noise is consistent, that's normal contact noise exists and Stella have it too. The noises that I don't like are sporadic at the bottom. Very often the noise comes at the bottom of the spool travel. Spool travels up and down, up and down. And sometimes when you spin the reel, can you hear anything? Nothing. I don't think you're going to hear anything. Sometimes when the spool goes all the way down, you hear like zik, 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 zik. Now, this kind of noise can bother me a little bit. This is scratching somewhere, imperfections, either of the main shaft or the little S travel cut slot for the locomotive gear. This one has actually no locomotive gear, but I'm talking in general, line roll of oscillation worm or the locomotive gear. This is what makes this zik, 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 zik noise. Now that noise does bother me, but even that, if it's just noise and you don't feel that like it's hitting something and stopping the reel, even that's normal. And I will tell you, in these cases, what you should do, instead of getting heart attack and getting depressed and stressed out, make that reel with this zik, zik noise, make it your main fishing reel for the next 3 months. Just use it on whatever lure you put most miles on. If you fish with a swim bait, that's perfect. Just use it for swim bait fishing, fish with it 6 hours a day, and you'll be amazed. Zik, 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 zik. It will go away. It will just wear out because the wear is maximum where it's touching. So stop it with these emails. People sending me, people who watch my channel for 5 years, never left one comment, never left one thumbs up, never bought one jig. Now that they bought a reel and the reel has noise, now they go out of their way. They send me videos, high definition videos, so I can see and I can help them with their noise. I'm a huge fan of your channel, but I check his email. He never bought anything. He never left a thumbs up. But now that he has noise, he is a huge fan of my... Okay, I don't want to go there, but you get the point. Don't worry about a little bit of contact noise or other minor noises in your reel. You have bigger things in this life to worry about. For what it's worth, though, this is a good specimen. But how it feels, I'm not impressed on one hand. I will say that. Yeah, it's smooth and quiet. But if you watch my Vanford review, the initial impressions at least, I can repeat the same initial impressions. The reel feels over-tightened and over-greased. It's just tight. This is not a reel that you can get and out of the box go twitching a 1 gram trout magnet. Now, I'm going to open this reel. I will re-grease it. One other rabbit hole. Daiwa and Shimano, I have both Daiwa's and Shimano's factory grease that they use during assembly. And both of them use, for understandable reasons, a pretty thick grease. That grease it's not ultralight grease. My guess is that they use the same grease that they use for 2500 size and maybe even 4000, who knows, in the 1000 size body reels. So that is thick grease. Also, all of the bolts are over tightened to make sure that nothing is loose when the customer receives it. Keep these things in mind. They use thick grease. Everything is over tightened for safety, especially for the cheap reels. It's just safer to over tighten. Now, the high-end reels are assembled in Japan. People who assemble them have a lot of experience and they know how much to tighten and not over tighten. They have confidence, but they usually get paid a lot more than this one is assembled in Malaysia. So you have to understand this, and you have to understand that a little bit tighter out of the box feel is normal and probably to be expected. And the last thing is, we want perfectly smooth gears. Well, to have smooth gears, you want perfect contact between the gears. You don't want to have a little bit of free play between the gears, right? Not only that, on the spinning reel, the gears are like this. On a bait caster, they're like this. That's why all bait casters feel good. Even the cheap $50 bait casters feel smooth. But with spinning reels, manufacturing quality is very important because the gears are like this. But you want tight gears. Well, when they're tight, at first the contact, the friction is a little bit too much. And the surface is also not perfectly smooth. And after you fish them, I don't know, a few times, 4 hours a day, the surface of the gear wears in. I don't want to say wears out, because that's not a negative thing. Like when you buy a new engine, they used to tell you, not anymore by the way, they changed that. I don't know how that's possible, but they used to tell you the first oil change is break-in period. The same thing for the boats, break-in period. You have just a little bit of break-in period for the surface of the gears also. Now, in reality, the pinion gear is so hard and so smooth. It's like glass. It doesn't need to wear. But the main gear will wear a little bit. Anyway, too long of a story, but a little bit of tightness is absolutely normal out of the box. Do not take this the wrong way, because they change these technologies. They say, okay, we reduce the resistance by 30% by making the main shaft not touch the pinion. It used to wrap around the pinion. Now they put a little plastic between the main shaft and the pinion. Now it moves inside. That's a bad imaging. That's what she said. Now it moves inside but doesn't touch. And they say they reduced by 30% the friction between the pinion and the main shaft. And you open the box and you're like, gosh dang it, I can swear my old Ultegra has less resistance than this. And I can swear too. By the way, I can tell you that my Sahara right now feels better than this. It's just as smooth, but is much freer. So anyway, too much time about this. Mine is smooth, quiet, a little bit tight, but I'm not gonna disassemble right away. I will give it like 3 or 4 sessions of fishing, and I will report to you guys if the real resistance improved after a few sessions of fishing. Because if it did, I discourage opening brand new reels, especially if you don't have experience with this. If your reel is smooth and quiet but has a little resistance, just thank the fishing gods that you got a smooth and quiet reel. Don't even think about the little bit of resistance a second time. It will wear out eventually. A couple of other things. Let me see. I have one bad thing, but I'm gonna save it for last. I noticed some very good assembly of my reel. Like for example, the knob is either too tight on these cheap reels or it has free play. Well, this knob is perfect. It's like I assembled it after 5 times shimming, removing shims, putting a thinner shim, putting a thicker shim to get it just perfect. But the knob is very tight, zero free play, but still free. So some good labor in Malaysia, excellent assembly. Here is another impressive point. I'm holding the rotor here. You have to hold the rotor and not the knob, but move the handle. Gosh dang it, nearly zero free play. Maybe zero. I don't want to say zero because that would be exaggerated, but nearly free, folks. I'm just going to hit it like this, okay? You hear noise? I know it's blurry, but do you hear noise? Now let me show you something very interesting. My beloved Vanquish, best fishing reel my hands have ever touched. But the handle, and I got emails about this too, people are ready to return a perfect reel because of this. Can you hear this? The handle on my perfect Vanquish, I consider this Vanquish perfect, has a little wiggle. It's like 0.3 millimeter wiggle, maybe 0.5 millimeter wiggle. But this Sahara has less free play on the handle. Certainly, if you have both reels, you can verify this. So good, between the knob and this, I can say some good assembly quality. Over tightened and too much grease and thicker grease and break-in period, I understand that. There is actually another reason for this free play here. I'm gonna make a second video about this, but if you want low resistance, let me just say this. If you want very low, non-existent resistance, you have to live with a little bit of free play here. There is no other physical way to do it. Nevertheless, I observe with great satisfaction that we don't have free play here. Now, a couple of bad things. The clicks. Shimano, we have to figure a way to improve the clicks. Daiwa figured it, and now every Daiwa reel you buy, from the Legalis to the Exist, comes with a perfect, crisp, sharp click out of the box. You effed up the Vanfort. This one is not as bad, but it's a little bit quiet for my taste. I'm hoping I can increase the tension of the spring a little bit, just enough to be okay. That's one of my major concerns. The biggest concern, which is actually an assembly concern, and I'll end the video there, is with the line roller. Now I cannot zoom in, but I put here some dots from Sharpie. Oh my gosh, stop it. Somebody is sending me messages and hiding the whole screen. My line roller, folks, man, I really need to zoom in for this, but you guys are gonna have to believe me. My line roller on a brand new reel, you can see, you can just a little bit see. My line roller rotates, but there is one point where it gets stuck, and just with the nail alone, I cannot spin it freely. While you can spin freely on every other reel I own. It just spins with nothing, just with the nail. But this one gets stuck right here. It's stuck. You see no more points. And to get it moving, I have to move it, kind of grab it with the skin. You saw it move now. I have to grab it with the skin, and only then I can turn the line roller. Now this is a new issue for me. I have never experienced before a tight line roller on a brand new reel. You can see the dot. So I will report on this separately. I will disassemble it, see if I find anything. I'm not too worried about this because I will tell you, I sell these things, I call them cookies. My wife and I call them cookies because they look like a cookie. But this is a conversion kit from Gomexus for all Shimano reels. So you can convert any Shimano reel from 0 bearings or 1 bearing to 2 bearings inside the line roller. This one, by the way, just like the old one, has 1 bearing and 1 plastic bushing inside. So if I cannot get it to work, I'm gonna try it. Oh, here is another. This is a new product. This is an amazing product. I don't want to talk about this in this video. You can go to the tackle shop and check it out. I described everything there. But this is an amazing line roller grease. So I will report on this separately, just on the line roller of this reel. I'll make a separate video about that. I will see if I can just lube it and just open it, lube it and close it, and hopefully it loosens up a little bit. But if you buy this reel brand new, check with your nail if the line roller turns free. Because if it gets stuck, that's bad news. I would rather something else has noise than line roller that if it gets stuck, folks, and the line is rubbing on the metal without the metal spinning, that's a great way to burn your line. Get a piece of straight line, get it around the corner and just rub it around the corner, and you're gonna see how it will curl. People with the loops blaming a lot of things and line and everything, but they have 10-year-old reels and the line rollers are completely seized. They have reels where the line roller hasn't turned in years, but they blame the new fishing line, they blame Daiwa, they blame the rods, the guides, they blame everything except that they didn't maintain the line roller. But anyway, this is the last thing I noticed. The line roller is a little bit tight. I don't know why, what's wrong with the line rollers in 2025. Shimano's line roller was making a little noise, but I fixed that easy. This one doesn't want to turn. Both of my 2025 Luvias, I'm going to show you something very embarrassing, but I hope you can learn from it. My 2025 Luvias, both of them, oh no, it's downstairs. I'm still fishing with it. I had to redo the line rollers of both of my Luvias reels, and on one of them I stripped the bolt here. I just stripped it. Another video, but brand new Luvias reel, $300 reel, it started to have noise after 1 month. It went away briefly. I thought it went away permanently, but it came back. I couldn't take it anymore. So usually on high-end reels, I don't want to add grease because adding grease to a high-end reel is just a last resort. Yeah, the grease will permanently take care of the noise and you don't have to maintain it for a long time, but it will add a little bit of resistance there, which I didn't want, but I couldn't take the noise anymore. And then they put so much thread lock on that tiny screw that you don't have enough grip on the screw, and I stripped it. So I'm still fishing with the reel. I was able to oil it and get the noise to go away, but I'm sure it will come back. Anyway, another story, but I don't know what is with line rollers in 2025. Both Daiwa and Shimano need to get this straight. The ironic thing is line rollers were absolutely fine before 2025. I never had a single issue, just noise on a brand new reel or not turning before 2020. It was already fine and now it started messing. But okay, 32 minutes is enough for entry. I'll check a few questions. I was hoping to be done in 20 minutes and have 10 minutes for questions. But all in all, This is a nice reel. The changes are exactly what I expected. Assembly quality was pretty good, except for the line roller, but I might have bad luck here. Just check it with your nail or get some line and without putting much friction, turn it like this and see it will turn. If you cannot see with your old eyes, which I couldn't, get some Sharpie and leave a few dots on the line roller. And then when you turn it, you will be able to see the dots easy. Let me check a few questions now. And I'm gonna end this. I'm here, folks. Just give me a few seconds. Wisconsin, sharp and clear. Mexico, hey! ¿Cómo estás, amigo? You know, I'm a little, I don't want to say offended, but I have sold last year $2,000 worth of tackle to Europe. Nearly every country in Europe. I sold to freaking Australia, man. I have 5 customers from Australia, a bunch from Canada, but not one order from Mexico. Can somebody buy 1 pack of jigs from Mexico to make me happy? You know what would really make me happy, folks? If somebody from Japan bought my jigs. Isn't that gonna be ironic? Well, you don't know what a victory day that would be for me. If somebody from Japan, think about it, went and ordered jigs from United States. USA. Never gonna happen probably, but hey. Handsome reel. Norway. I do have customers from Norway. Oh man, you just bought the old one? You didn't know the new one is out? I don't even know if the new one is out in United States, because Daiwa USA decided not to release the new Legalis in United States. The dealers do dealers things. I hate dealers. I'm gonna I can make like a 10-hour video just sharing my hatred for dealers. I hate dealers so bad. We have a beautiful, perfect product, cheap, affordable. They don't want to import it because it's going to kill the sales of the more expensive Exceller. That's how they Pensacola, Florida. Click sound Ivan Vedrich is no good, but hopefully after some tinkering, we can make it good enough, but it will never be as good as Daiwa. Which is ironic, because if you watch my videos from 5 years ago, how have the tables turned? I used to say that LT from Daiwa stands for shitty drag sound. But Daiwa changed it, Daiwa fixed it, and Shimano, who had good drag sound, screwed it up. How have the tables turned? Beleza UX, amazing rod. Agreed. I by the way, have never received so much positive feedback about a rod as for the Beleza UX. So many emails. People bought the Presso Air AGS. Not one person emailed me to tell me, man, I bought this Presso Air AGS. What an amazing rod. It's a $300 rod, much better than the Beleza. But because you paid $300, you kind of expect it. I don't know. People were not impressed with the Presso Air AGS. But the Beleza, people cannot believe it's $130. I don't have good things to say about Abu Garcia spinning reels. Now, the bait casters, amazing. But the spinning reels still feel very heavy rotor. My gosh, this rotor is like the flywheel of an old car. Has anybody disassembled an old car? They used to put these very heavy, intentionally heavy steel flywheels So if there is a hiccup in the motor, one of the spark plugs misfires, the flywheel doesn't stop and keeps the engine turning. The rotors of these reels feel very, very heavy to me. And the gears are not the same either. Okay. Oh, I will be reviewing the Kisler rod. I'm tempted to run to the attic. I just repainted it. I had to cut more cork. That rod, the entire handle, if you buy the rod, I'm warning you, it is not fixable. You have to just get a knife and cut everything out of there, leave just the metal, and get some cork and put some cork where your hand will be, depending on the size of your hand, and make your own handle. It is absolutely beyond criticism. I cannot believe, did anybody fish with that rod? Okay, I'm not going on that tangent. It's very disappointing for somebody who pretends to have such high reputation, and he wants to charge $600 for a rod. There is no rod in the world that costs $600. Okay, maybe some exotic stuff out of Japan, but his stuff is lumberjack stuff. The $600, he doesn't know how to put a freaking cork handle. He put everything upside down, nothing, and then he released it without testing it because it doesn't work anyway. But the blank is good. The blank is good. Everybody is buying his rods because of the blanks. Alabama. Take you, Shady Plumber. I had one Shady Plumber install my water heater 3 years ago here because Home Depot wanted to charge me $1,700 installation. $1,700 installation for a water heater. These people are nuts. That's Home Depot. I'll rather have showers in the local river than pay them $1,700. Oh no, this reel, I don't wanna ruin my review, but this reel in no way feels better than the 21. In no way. It's not smoother, it's not quieter, it doesn't have less resistance, the drag doesn't sound better. In no way that the user perceives does this reel feel better. It does look better though, in my opinion. And it's possible that because of the new gears, it will last longer, but it will not feel better. If you find the old models discounted, just grab them. They will go under $100. That's the first reel in the world, the cheapest reel with oscillation worm that you can get. Get the old ones. For the Beleza UX, what do I recommend? I recommend this or this for the Beleza UX. Luvias STSF or Vanquish. These are your two choices if you want performance and aesthetics both to match. If you want just performance, you have more choices. No, I'm talking for the maximum price. They do have some rods. Kisler does have some rods that they try to sell to professional bass anglers that cost $600, at least full MSRP. But the crappy rod I bought was $200. Then shipping was $30 for shipping. My gosh. But they always have some kind of a deal, so shipping ended up being free with their stupid deal. So I did get it for $200 plus tax in Tennessee, $20, $220. And the guy who paid for the rod from California, he actually, some people are so thoughtful. When he sent me $200 for the rod, he sent me $220 to pay for the sales tax. Who would even think about this? Yeah, you know, Vanford versus Ultegra, I will consider it in the... I will cover this in the review of the rod. And this is the last question. I'm shutting down the video. It's too long. But, you know, people go and argue. And I will tell you, the Vanford does not feel better than this reel, no matter who tells you what. There is people, hecklers, always go in my videos and night and day. Folks, I will tell you this, there is no exception to this rule. If somebody says night and day difference, turn away and just slowly walk away, nodding your head, tell him, okay, just walk away. This is crazy people, you cannot talk to them, convince them that they're crazy, they're emotional, night and day. There is no night and day. Night and day. The Vanford does not feel better than this, and it doesn't sound better than this. Actually, this one might sound better than the Vanford. But the difference in weight is so enormous that if you have a high-end rod, it's a very simple decision actually. If you have a high-end rod that weighs only 50 grams, you can slap this thing on a 50-gram rod. I mean, it's just, look, I mean, this thing heavy. This thing heavy, folks. It's like made of solid, I don't know, I was gonna say lead. It is heavy. You're not gonna tolerate this. It doesn't matter how it looks, how smooth, on a 50-gram JDM rod. On the other hand, if you have a, you know, I don't want to say cheap rods, but if you have a budget rod, like a TFO, $100, beautiful rod, you don't need Vanford on that. It's not going to feel better than this. And when you put it on the rod, these budget rods actually feel better with heavier reel. So if your rod is on the budget end, go Ultegra. If you have JDM rod, go Vanford just for the weight, if nothing else, because there is nothing else. This one has the oscillation worm inside, just like the Vanford. It has even the new plastic, as I showed you, so it doesn't, the main shaft doesn't touch the pinion anymore. But it's too heavy. All right, folks, thank you very much for hanging out, for the comments. I see some new comments, but I gotta go because if the video is too long, it's a deterrent for people to click on it. They don't even want to start a video that's 45 minutes long. So thank you for watching. I go turn it off now. Bye-bye. How do you turn off? Turn off. Off. End stream.